Hello, my name's Roisin and I'm sick of reading. Sick of Reading is my channel name, and I've had some people ask me why I chose that name. I think I mentioned in a couple of previous videos that it's because I have a chronic illness. So I thought today I would talk about my chronic condition. I have like one main diagnosis and then a lot of different little syndromes that are all caused by this main diagnosis. And that main diagnosis is psoriatic arthritis. I don't think it counts as a rare disease, it's not that uncommon. Psoriasis, which is the skin condition that I have, affects 1 to 2% of the population in the UK. And psoriatic arthritis affects about 10% of people who have psoriasis. So I don't think that counts as a rare condition, but it is one that a lot of people haven't heard of. From my experience, most people, when they think of arthritis, think about old people, and that makes sense. So arthritis is just any inflammation of the joints and tendons, which is why some people can have arthritis as a side effect of their other conditions. For example, people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome can get arthritis because they have inflammation in the collagen in their joints. So arthritis is the name for that inflammation, but it's not a condition on its own necessarily. There are, however, several conditions that are different types of arthritis. So the most common type in the UK is osteoarthritis, and that is an arthritis caused by wear and tear, which is why it mostly affects people who are in their mid-40s and above, and usually quite a lot later than that. So people in their 70s and 80s usually will have some form of arthritis because the collagen in their joints has worn away, and that can cause inflammation and pain and swelling. Osteoarthritis can also affect people if they've had an injury that has done damage to the cartilage in their joints, and then that can cause inflammation. And once the cartilage lining starts to roughen and thin, then it just gets worse and worse, so that's why it's a progressive condition. And that's most commonly in your hands, your feet, your knees and your hips, which is why older people often need hip and knee replacements. And since that is the most common type, that is what most people think of when they think of arthritis. However, there are multiple different types of arthritis. And the next most common is rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune condition. So what I have is psoriatic arthritis, which is also an autoimmune condition. In rheumatoid arthritis, your immune system targets your joints, which leads to pain and swelling, very similarly to osteoarthritis, except that it's your immune system doing it and not just wear and tear or injury. So then there are other conditions that have arthritis or are related to arthritis, like ankylosing spondylitis, which Zach from the Try Guys has. So if you watch his video about that, that was really interesting. And then there's enteropathic arthritis, which is a type of arthritis associated with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, which usually affects the spine as well. And then there's also rheumatica, which people have often heard of, which causes pain and stiffness in joints in people usually over 50. The one that I have though is psoriatic arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis is a type of arthritis that comes for you. No, psoriatic arthritis is a type of arthritis that people with psoriasis get. So for me, I developed psoriasis when I was 14. It started on my scalp and in my ears, and you can see it now on my face. I'm not wearing makeup for this video just to make it even more obvious. But I also have psoriasis all over my body. If you go on my Instagram, there's pictures of my back with psoriasis. And psoriasis is when your immune system attacks your skin. It thinks your skin is an enemy body and it attacks and kills your skin cells. So most people's skin cells shed and change every, I think it's 28 days or so. Your skin cells die and shed and then new ones grow behind them. When you have psoriasis, your immune system is attacking your skin cells, which means that that system is sped up by like 100 times, so that you are constantly having dead skin cells shedding from your skin. And it also causes inflammation, which hence the redness and itchiness, and inflexures, which is parts of your body that rub against each other, so like armpits, tops of legs and stuff, that is rubbed off. So if you get psoriasis in your flexures, you get this sort of smooth, red, shiny skin that can crack. Like, you know, if you've ever had your lips crack because when it's really cold, if your lips have ever dried out and cracked, that's kind of what happens, but in your armpits, your knees, your legs, that sort of thing. So psoriasis itself can be really difficult to live with. It's itchy. It can be really sore. A lot of people, the sun improves their psoriasis, but if you have flexural psoriasis and you're hot and sweaty and rubbing, it makes it even worse. It makes it incredibly painful. Like I said about the lip, that crack, it's really sore. Imagine that somewhere that was hidden and rubbing against itself. It's like a popped blister in your armpit almost. And then there's also the fact that I have it on my face, so it is mildly disfiguring, I suppose. People see it, people comment on it, people notice, people want to give you their herbal remedy that they swear worked for their mother's cousin's nephew, and people just know that something is different about you, and it's written right across your face. But it's also written across the rest of my body. So intimacy was difficult when I was younger and more self-conscious about it. And it's in my hair, so I look like I constantly have dandruff. I don't have dandruff. Dandruff is a fungal condition. I have psoriasis, but it means that I have flecks of skin often in my hair. I can't help it. My skin is falling off. So people will say, oh, you've got something in your hair, and pick it off. And that used to make me feel really uncomfortable. In fact, anytime anyone noticed my psoriasis, it made me feel, oh, because most of the time, unless I'm itchy or uncomfortable, I'm not thinking about the fact that I have a skin condition. And as soon as someone points it out to you and it's like, oh, that looks sore, anything of the kind, it's drawn attention to something and put a big neon sign saying, look, you have weird skin. People don't generally point out people's spots, I don't think. So please don't point out people's skin condition unless they bring it up to you to talk about. Anyway, to get back to the arthritis, psoriatic arthritis is a long-term condition. It's a chronic condition that I will have for the rest of my life. And it can get worse. Psoriatic arthritis usually affects the hands and feet most often, and it can sort of make you form sort of club-like fingers and toes. That can be really painful and really affect movement. However, my hands are completely unaffected. The type of psoriatic arthritis I have is spondyloarthropathy, which is similar to the ankylosing spondylitis, except that mine aren't going to fuse, they're just very painful. I have it in my spine and in my sacrum, which is the back of your pelvis. So if your pelvic bones are like the hip bones here, they then join together in the back, and that is your sacrum. And so where mine is the joint here, where my pelvis joins my sacrum on either side, like that. That is where I have that arthritis. So on an x-ray or an MRI, that bit should be completely smooth. But for me, it is jagged because my immune system has attacked that joint and has caused degeneration on the joint, so that can cause intense pain. A lot of the time for me it shoots down my leg, like sciatica, or it'll just ache and it'll hurt to walk, which is why I sometimes need a walking stick, or it will hurt to sit sometimes. It will inflame on the bottom and I'll have one butt cheek bigger than the other, and it's the sort of thing that kind of is not consistent. It goes through flare-ups and remission. So sometimes I won't be able to get out of bed because of pain. I won't be able to walk. I'll need help getting to the bathroom. And sometimes I'll be perfectly fine. I'll be able to do a 5-mile walk. So what happened for me was that when I went to university, I started to get stiff hips. And I thought it was because I'd stopped doing ballet. I did adult ballet, I wasn't good at ballet. I did ballet for fun. I stopped when I went to university. And my hips started to get sore, and I thought it was because I wasn't stretching properly, so I started to do some yoga and I felt some relief. Then in 2012 I started to get sciatica, so sometimes I couldn't walk and I couldn't even sit up in bed without shooting pain going down my leg. And I went to the doctor and they said, yeah, it's probably sciatica. Since you aren't incontinent, it's probably not a serious problem, you just need to do exercises for your sciatic muscle, which is a tiny muscle in your bum that can sometimes, some people's sciatic nerve goes over their sciatic muscle and some people's it goes like through it, and so if your sciatic muscle tenses up it squeezes on the nerve and that can cause shooting pain. So I thought not a lot of it, and then a few years later I started to get sick, really sick, like throwing up all of the time. Couldn't eat anything more than like one scrambled egg at a time or else I would throw up. I lost a considerable amount of weight in a short period of time, enough that everybody was noticing around me. And so I went to the doctor for that and got told it was probably IBS, and then got told it was probably IBS again, even though IBS generally doesn't make you vomit. So I was going to the doctor for that, which kind of cleared up on its own and then came back again and then went away again and then came back again, but still we're not really sure why. I was going to the doctor for that and I started to get this morning stiffness, this incredible pain across my back, right about the level of my bra strap, and it was so sore and I couldn't get out of bed for the first hour in the morning because I couldn't move properly. I was completely like tensed up and stiff everywhere. And so I went to the doctor for that and they were like, oh, that's strange. And then I started to talk about sort of more generalised pain, peripheral neuropathy, which I get pins and needles in my hands and feet, more often in my hands, tiredness. And at that point I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome and possible fibromyalgia. So I was then referred to a rheumatologist, and I had to wait 3 months because in the NHS, if you're not an urgent patient, it takes quite a while to get an appointment because it's completely underfunded. Thank you, Tories. And as soon as I walked through the door, he looked at me and he looked at the psoriasis on my face and he said, "I think you've got psoriatic arthritis." And he went through all of these things where I had to like bend over and touch my toes so he could see how far I could bend, and he like made me lie down and saw where things hurt and like bent my feet in different ways and stuff. And he then referred me for an MRI, and I got the MRI and it came back and he was like, "Yeah, you've got psoriatic arthritis. Don't know why you've been throwing up, but no one knows." I have a theory about the throwing up, which is that when I had an endoscopy to see why I was throwing up, I had gastritis, but not severe enough for it to be considered anything medical. But then I also had colitis. Yeah, not like ulcerative colitis or chronic colitis, just inflammation in my colon, which is colitis. And so I think my body's just high inflammation and my immune system is very confused and it is just attacking bits of me, but it's not attacking my digestive system enough for it to be an inflammatory bowel disease. It's just a little bit. Mostly it wants to attack my bones, but it's also a little bit getting my digestive system just like on the side. All of my diagnoses at the minute: I have psoriasis on my skin, I have psoriatic arthritis in my bones, I have chronic fatigue, which is because of, so people with inflammatory conditions often have chronic fatigue because your immune system is on high alert all the time. It's like the tiredness you get when you have the flu. It's that dog-tired, heavy body, painful joints. I mean, I have painful joints anyway, but extra painful. Joints that don't have arthritis in me are painful. I also have gastritis and colitis, which have also been diagnosed as IBS and GERD, so irritable bowel syndrome, which is a functional disorder even though I have colitis, and GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disorder, acid reflux, basically. Yeah, that's it, I think. Oh! I have hidradenitis suppurativa, which is entirely unrelated, but is another autoimmune condition wherein my immune system attacks my sweat glands. Not all of my sweat glands, obviously you sweat from every part of your body. The glands in your armpits and around your groin, generally speaking. I only really have it in this armpit most of the time, and I have it quite mildly, but it's basically a skin condition where you get sort of like cysts that can be quite painful. It has 3 levels, level 1, 2 and 3. It's like a progressive disease, but I've had it since I was about 12, 13, and I'm still on level 1. I haven't got any worse than that, and I'm 27 now, so 15 years and I'm still on the same level. Treatment. So the treatment for psoriatic arthritis begins with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which is basically ibuprofen and things that are stronger than ibuprofen. Unfortunately, ibuprofen causes gastritis. So the fact that I already have gastritis and gastroesophageal reflux disease means that non-steroidal anti-inflammatories are kind of a non-starter for me. I can't really take ibuprofen unless I'm in significant pain, and then I'll just deal with the stomach cramps. And when they put me on a stronger one with ranitidine at the same time, and ranitidine is supposed to calm down your stomach acid, so it was supposed to like counteract the stomach problems whilst letting the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories reduce the inflammation in my joints. I was throwing up for 2 weeks when they did that, and they said you have to keep going for 2 weeks because, you know, they like to torture us. Yeah, so that did not work out for me. Then there is methotrexate, which is a type of chemotherapy. However, for psoriatic arthritis and for psoriasis, as a treatment for both, you take it at much lower doses, like 100th of the dose that people having chemotherapy take it at. It's still not very fun though. It's still kind of miserable. My aunt takes it and really does not enjoy it. A fair amount of side effects: fatigue, pain, stomach problems again. And for me, the reason I stopped taking it was because I was taking it at the dermatological dose. So I was taking it for psoriasis, which is 7 milligrams, rather than for psoriatic arthritis, which is about 15 milligrams. But it did absolutely nothing for my psoriasis the whole time I was taking it. There was no improvement whatsoever, and it was giving me really low mood and a really bad digestive system. Again, most pills I take seem to. So then we've moved on, and the final one, which I should be starting today, fingers crossed, because I've had to put this off so many times, is biologics. Biologics are injectable drugs that you take and they block a certain part of the immune system. So methotrexate is an immunosuppressant that turns down your whole immune system. The way my rheumatologist explained it is that if you take methotrexate, imagine your immune system is an orchestra, and you take methotrexate and it turns down the volume on all of the orchestra to a lower level. However, when you take a biologic, what it does is it takes one part of your immune system and shuts it off completely. It's like it just stops the trumpets, but the rest of the orchestra are still playing. So the type of biologic I'm taking is a TNF inhibitor. TNF is a type of protein that tells your immune system to go get things. It's like the one that's ordering people to be like, oh look, there's a virus, get it. But it is fairly effective at stopping your immune system in autoimmune conditions. I'm not going to tell you the exact drug I'm taking, because obviously if you have anything like this, go to your doctor, talk to them about it. Like, there are lots of different biologics and your doctor will put you on the one that is right for you. But hopefully I'm starting that today. The reason I haven't started it before was because I needed a root canal and then I had a cold, and you're not supposed to take it when you're ill. So if I was to have a root canal in the future, I would have to stop taking it whilst the dental procedure was happening and then start again afterwards. I also have to eat like a pregnant lady, not like eat 500 extra calories, I don't need to do that, but I'm not supposed to eat like unpasteurised cheese made from unpasteurised milk, eggs that haven't been tested by the British Lion Standard, caviar, sushi, pate, any of those things that pregnant women are advised to avoid because it can cause food poisoning. I am supposed to also avoid, but I can still drink alcohol and caffeine because I'm not carrying an actual human. I'm going to try and document my journey with biologics, the experience of taking them, the experience of side effects, which apparently there aren't many, and how well I get on if I improve. So expect in the future a psoriatic arthritis vlog where I talk about those things, but for now, thank you for watching, and if you have any more questions, just ask them in the comments below and I will try and answer all of them. If you have psoriatic arthritis or any other autoimmune condition, you are strong and you are brave, and well done. Really, honestly, well done for getting through this. Any chronic pain condition, anything, well done for just keeping going. Like, I know it can be hard sometimes to see other people achieving things that you wish you were achieving. I only work part-time because of this condition, and I'm not in some high-flying career in London like I thought I would be by this age. And that can be tough, and it can be isolating, and it can be lonely, and it can be difficult because people don't understand. But you are strong and you have done so well. You are doing so well. Thank you for watching.